everybody. Welcome to A Court of Books and Booze, our basement book club. I am Skyler, better known as the Skywalker from Golden Image Podcast. Today I am joined by my two lovely co-hosts.
Jessica Golden.
And
Amanda.
She's so happy.
Just
so
Amanda.
happy.
Just Amanda.
Guys, I'm just honored to be here.
We're just having a blast.
So the point of our podcast is we are going to summarize whatever book we are currently reading, go over theories, hypotheses, and so on and so forth. But the point of this episode is just getting to let you guys know us a little bit better.
Ooh, how exciting.
So who are you?
I am Skyler. I am a co-host on Golden Image Podcast. What else is there to say? I mean,
It's my life right there.
yeah. The introduction.
Your father, a
I was
husband.
going to say,
Father,
I don't
a
have
husband,
anything
yeah.
else going on. I'm glad you started with your priorities.
You know.
The important things.
Yeah. I just want people who are coming from the other podcast to know that I do other podcasts. I am officially 2-time podcast host now, right? That doesn't beat some
Yeah.
people in this fun little organization, but
And also, like, OG podcast radio show personality from a decade ago.
a decade ago.
Back in the day.
I can't go back and listen to those vintage Young Gun shows. It's so bad.
Yeah, I haven't either. I can't bring myself to do it. I'm sure they're fantastic for what they were, but
Oh no, they're bad.
you just leave it at that.
Yeah. So father, husband, owner of 2 cats.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm the counterpart to that husband. I'm a wife, a mom of 2, mom to cats. Also was on, a decade ago with you for that radio show that shall not be spoke of anymore, apparently. I'm a travel agent. I like to travel. I like to read books. That's pretty much all I've been doing in my spare time at this point, so.
I'm glad you're in this group then.
Yeah, it's kind of, that's helpful.
Yeah, I
That's a
think so. I
helpful
think you're going to do great.
personality trait
You're right.
to have here.
Reading books is a personality trait.
It's my only one at this point.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, I'm Amanda. I'm the third wheel to that couple of the 2 kids and the 2 cats. So, yeah, I think we've all been friends for almost like 5 years now.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't believe that.
Time flies, man.
Amanda is the baby of our group, by the way. She is the young one, so.
It doesn't feel like it though.
Not
you guys,
anymore.
and you guys are not that much older than I am. So, baby, you're like, okay, maybe like, what, 2 years?
It used to be the joke. I mean, it's kind
Right.
of meshed into.
Well, because when I first met you guys, I was 21.
I know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was.
Literally seems like a lifetime ago,
It
honestly.
really, though.
Yeah.
It's been fantastic.
Yeah. It's been all rainbows and sunshine.
That's not what I said.
It's okay. You don't have to tell me. I already know. It's all right. So yeah, I don't even know what to say that I do because I do literally everything. So I work in physical therapy up at South Bend Orthopedics. I am the manager at Board and Brush in Mishawaka. I coach soccer for 3 months out of the year in the fall. And then I'm friends with these guys, which is like another job. So, yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Jack of all trades, whether she wants the trade or
I
not.
wear many hats. So, yeah, we're going to start off strong like that, Sky. So, don't edit this out.
Wouldn't dream of it.
Thanks, Bay.
So yeah, guys, welcome to our book club. I mean, we're excited to sit down and talk about what we've been reading, and
Well, and really, it seems like as of late, just as of this season of life, that either, depending on which one of us it is, either we just got into reading or whether we got back into reading, or whether we just picked up the amount of reading that we've been doing. It kind of just seemed like it all fell into place at the same time, that we were all doing something similar and just increased this, I don't know, love of reading, need of reading, necessity in our daily life at this point.
I think it's become an obsession at this point. I mean, where we're all at.
Yeah. I mean, it really has. And so it just kind of all fell into place that we just get together and start reading the same thing and be able to share in that experience with everyone.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I feel like I was really into reading when I was younger. So, like middle school through high school. And then when I went to college, I kind of fell out of it because there was a lot of, forced reading with stuff. And I just kind of was anything that was enjoyable, fiction, anything afterwards. I was just not about it. And then, yeah, I just recently got back into it. I think maybe a year and a half ago. And then I got on Book Talk, and that was a huge change in my life. So,
all of ours.
Right.
Oh my gosh, the influence that Book Talk on TikTok has had is just, ugh.
my story is a little different because I'm not on Book Talk. First of all,
You'll get there.
I only
You'll
see
get
the
there.
ones that Jess sends me,
Which
and
is all of them.
That's pretty far in between because I don't look at my messages on TikTok ever.
That's fair.
Jess started reading A Court of Thorns and Roses, and she was probably 5 chapters in. She's like, Skyler, I think you'd really like this.
I was
And-
barely into it. Yeah. I just thought, we'll get to that at some point, but I thought you'd like the world of it.
Right.
So I just suggested it,
And I was in a lull with, reading to Aspen before bed because he's just kind of lost interest in hearing me talk all the time, I think. And so I was like, you know what? I'll pick it up. And 4 weeks later, I'd read all 5 books.
Yeah.
So.
And this coming from the guy who wasn't a reader, has never been a reader through childhood, and adolescence and even early adulthood. Books were not your thing.
No, they definitely weren't.
You found a few that you've liked over the years, but they generally weren't they just like school recommended books that you like had to read or that something of that sort.
In high school we read Jurassic Park and stuff like that, which
You read Jurassic Park?
We did. We read Jurassic Park in, was it like
What?
freshman year?
freshman year or 8th grade, I don't remember.
Something like that, yeah.
So first of all, I wasn't even aware that was a book.
Oh yeah, we've got it on the
Jurassic
shelf.
Park. What?
I probably have the school's copy.
She does have the school.
Is that the
is
school's copy?
awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. I say ours was just like, in high school, like, oh yeah, the Scarlet Letter and the Odyssey and all this stuff.
We
Like
read those as well.
the classics, No, I never got to read Jurassic Park. That's so cool.
Was that in English? Was that English with Miss A?
That's a good question. I do not remember off the top.
I think it was, and she would occasionally pick off the wall sort of things.
Well, this is actually one of my favorite things to talk about. Is I think it was my junior year. They gave us The Lovely Bones and told us, this is the book we're reading for the semester. And if anybody knows anything about The Lovely Bones, it is not a pleasant book. There is murder and
There's
child
big
exploitation
topics.
Right.
So I never read the book. I watched the movie when that first came out, which I'm sure are very different.
I never saw the movie.
I haven't read or seen it.
So the movie I enjoyed. I mean, like you said, heavy topics, but
Good old Marky Mark.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
One of the students' parents found out we were reading this book, and they started reading it. And Obviously, they called the school and said,
Oh.
I don't want my child reading this.
Banned books
So
club.
they
Banned
banned
books.
it. Yeah. They banned it. And
Man, it just gets crazy how heavy or how long that list has gotten. The banned books, like stuff. I was just like, yeah, I get it, but still, like, even like the Scarlet Letter is, I'm pretty sure is on that list.
Seriously?
I thought so. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Crazy.
So yeah, my
Lovely Bones. Oh.
Lovely Bones. It is the only book in high school that I read cover to cover because, you know, I was like, I've seen Jurassic Park, the movie. I don't need to read this book. Two very, very different things, by the way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good book. You ever get a chance to pick it up? I mean, it's heavy, but it's good.
So your reading journey is pretty recent then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would say it's very, very recent.
Very
Past
recent.
couple months.
Yeah. I was the kid who lived a block and a half from the library, and when I was like 7 years old, I would literally take my old metal radio flyer wagon, walk down to the library and get probably a dozen books and check them all out and walk back home and then have them all done in a couple days, and would do that like the entire summer. So like I'm a reader. I've always been a reader. I just used to read so much through childhood and through like middle school and high school, and I think like you're right. It probably was college when it just kind of fell off of my radar for a while, doing that for enjoyment just because of like lack of time or having to read certain things, being told that you have to read certain things, and so then not reading for pleasure because it wasn't enjoyable yet at that point. So I've read a few good books like over the years since then, but I think mine is a really recent like pick back up as well. Our local library was doing like summer reading club for adults. And so I'm like, oh yeah, heck yeah, prizes. Like,
We love free stuff.
we love free things. I can read again. I love reading. Let's just pick this back up. And that started, June 1st, I believe. It started June 1st. And I picked up a book the second week in June. And I've read upwards of 30 books since the second week of June. It just became an obsession again. So
Yeah. It's a good obsession.
oh yeah, no,
Right?
there could definitely be worse things I'm
I
addicted
was
to
gonna
than
say,
books.
Yeah. Fairly healthy.
But side note, I didn't win anything. And neither did Skyler.
Well, that's just depressing.
I read a lot of manga, and I was talking to Ryan at the library, and he's like, well, I don't care if you put down every chapter for every manga you read. I was like, well, I'm obviously not going to do that because I read like
Yeah.
15 or
So
16
many.
Yeah.
manga weekly.
Yeah.
I really was at that point. And yeah, I still put in at least one ticket a week in that summer draw and nothing.
But that's okay. Like we had
It's not
a
okay.
we had a goal that we were trying to achieve, but it got us back into something really good.
And here we are.
And here we are. This is what came
Basement
out of
Book
it.
Club, you know?
Fantastic.
See? This is so much more rewarding than a mug from the library. I'm just saying.
It was more than a mug, Amanda. Let's be real. They had like this whole package that's like you can have.
They had a shark blanket.
Yeah.
Aspen was really wanting that.
Well, I just got a free mug from there for getting a new library card this month. So
Heck yeah.
I got to spin the wheel. So, and I actually landed on the book category. They're like, yeah, you can pick any of these books. And I was like, I don't want any of these books. None of these sound interesting. And he's like, well, you can have a mug. You can have a blanket. I really don't care. And I was like, great. So I have a mug in my cabinet that says Bremen Public Library.
There you go.
Because that's what I needed was another mug.
Well.
The collection is large.
Yeah.
I gotta say.
Yeah.
And we just got rid of some just a couple months ago. Literally purged like all the ones like we never use, and it's full, all full back up, filled back up. Like
Shouldn't have picked the mug.
I
Should have picked the
know.
book.
Did we get rid of the National Treasure mug?
No, I could never. I
Never.
could never.
So we're gonna be each episode going over a new book that we've all been separately reading at the same time. Sometimes it'll be books in a series, which I think is what we're going to be starting with, and then really after that it could be standalone books, another series. Possibilities are endless. Just kind of depends on how we're feeling at the time, I guess. But we'll go through synopsis, we'll go through some questions, some reviews, kind of what we're thinking, and go from there. Take you on the journey with us.
Yeah. Do you guys want to talk a little bit about the series that we're starting this podcast off with? No? No? Just me? A Throne of Glass?
So that's going to be the first official episode, is we'll be going over the first book in the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, which is aptly titled Throne of Glass.
Is it Moss? Is
Moss.
that how you say your last name?
Moss, M-A-A-S. Yeah.
That makes
So
sense.
That's why I
exciting.
wanted to say that before you did.
So exciting.
So
I get super excited when I talk to others that also enjoy things that I enjoy. So if I get super giddy or very high pitched or very loud, I apologize in advance.
I'm here for it.
I
I'm here for all of
I'm
the
just
excitement.
so excited about this series. Like, it's so good. So from what we've read so far, and yeah, I'm excited to talk about it.
Yeah, me too. There's so much potential for this.
All right. Well, I just wanted to kind of finish out the episode by asking you guys just a couple, questions about reading that I pulled up online. Got my
So
handy-dandy
original.
tablet.
So original.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just
No,
whatever.
hit
All
me
right.
with it. Hit me
Let's
with
go.
it.
What is the first book you remember reading?
Oh, jeez.
The Very Hungry Caterpillar.
I was gonna say something like that.
Good Night Moon.
What was the
The Rainbow Fish.
The rainbow. I was literally thinking, what's the fish with all the scales?
One fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish. Like, I don't know how back.
Chicka
how far
chicka-
back you want to go?
Chicka chicka boom boom.
Yeah.
Actually, Aspen has that upstairs.
He's
Gunner-
got all of
Gunner
them we
got it.
listed upstairs.
Doesn't he?
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
I don't think I've ever read that one.
Which one?
What's Chicka Chicka Boom Boom?
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
He loved that one for a while.
I say it was like I got older. I think I was really into like Junie B. Jones and Nancy Drew and that kind of stuff.
Never really was a fan of those.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
I say I remember in elementary school I had like the whole collection of the Junie B. Jones
Yeah.
series. Like
That was a hot series, a hot
yeah, I
set.
loved them. I loved them. Couldn't tell you anything about them now,
Oh, no.
but
Captain Underpants.
Yeah.
Diary of a
Me
Wimpy
too.
Kid.
The Borrowers.
Oh yeah.
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 There's one very, very specific series I am waiting for Jess to mention.
Warrior
There you
Cats.
go.
That was like, oh gosh, that had to have been like 5th or 6th grade. Obsessed, absolutely obsessed with these Warrior Cats book series. Wish I would have kept them. Aspen would have loved them.
Sure, you can find them somewhere.
Yeah, I gave a whole set away a few years back.
All right.
That was a good question.
Harry Potter,
Harry Potter.
always.
Oh my gosh, if we do
Always.
not go over that series in this podcast, I'm gonna be so upset, Skylar.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you're killing me. I
You will
I have
finally
always
read
had
them.
Zero interest in reading Harry Potter. Maybe I'll get my grandma to fill the host spot.
Okay, but not even going over the movies of them in and of themselves. You've watched them. On the surface, you've enjoyed them. The books, the books.
The books.
Let me tell you a really quick story about Harry Potter. So, when Deathly Hallows Part 2 came out, we went opening night at Triway, which is in Plymouth, to see it. And that scene...
Showland?
No, we went to Triway.
Did we go to Triway?
We went to Triway.
Oh, wow.
And that scene where they're in that white room and he's talking to Dumbledore
Yeah.
was so freaking bright. I didn't know Triway was
And
was
from
that
then on,
impressive.
he vowed to never read the books.
Yeah, it
Because
was
we-
that point.
Because we went to the premiere at the wrong venue.
Ew. It hurt. It was so bright.
Gosh.
Well, I'm just telling you right now it's going to happen because,
yeah.
you're going to be outvoted. So,
I've already been outvoted.
yeah, it's fine.
You're going to have a wonderful time. There is so much in those that didn't make it to the silver screen.
Maybe Nick will take my place as host for that series.
But honestly, because I've read that series at least
yeah.
almost probably 5-6 times, if not more than that.
Front to back, everything,
And I'm honestly really excited to see you as a first-time reader reading them. Because I wish I could just go back and read it for the first time again.
Yeah.
So-
really.
When I was very young, right after The Sorcerer's Stone came out, we would spend a lot of time at my grandmother's house. And she would always, let us watch a movie before we went to bed or read a book. And she started reading The Sorcerer's Stone. And we made it like maybe 2 chapters in. And she's talking about his family, the Dursleys.
Wow, I'm proud of you.
Yeah.
Well, I've seen the movies enough times. I hope I would remember. And I remember her reading them and being, going through all these details. I was like, that wasn't in the movie.
Yeah.
They're
For
just
real.
they're just better.
They're, I mean, not to sound cliche, but they're just so magical. Like, for real, though.
That was cliche though.
I don't even care. To sound cliche as fuck, they're so magical.
All right. The next question I have for you guys. What is your favorite book of all time?
You can't do that to me. You can't do that
It's all
to
right.
me.
I can start this one. Redwall.
Oh, yeah. That is yours.
That's the book our 7th grade English teacher read to us on Fridays during free time. I absolutely just fell in love with that entire series. I have read it to Aspen.
Yeah, you passed along that love. He quite enjoyed that.
Yep. And I'm super excited. I believe it is Netflix actually picked it up and is going to do animated series on it. So
Yeah.
That
and
is
a couple
exciting.
movies.
I've never read it. Have you?
No, he lent me the first book. I still have it.
Oh, yeah.
That was like a year ago.
She's a disappointment.
Yeah.
Really.
I'm glad you asked me to be in this with you.
I wouldn't have it any other way. Jessica?
Can you think of just your favorite book series? Is there just something that comes to mind?
No, because I feel like that's an absurd question and you shouldn't have asked it.
I said that to him earlier. I'm like, you can't ask me to pick my favorite book or my favorite series. That's like asking me to pick my favorite musician, my favorite song. Like, there's just...
Because I like different... There's certain books I really like from different genres, but then, like, depending on what I'm reading, I'd be like, yeah, I really love this book. I would totally read it again. That's just so hard. I can't.
When you go through different seasons of having different favorites, different obsessions, different... yeah. I mean...
Because, like, right now I'm really into, like, fantasy suspense stuff. Like, even before I
Just
picked
say
up...
it.
Even before we picked up this book, like, I had found a couple books that were recommended on Book Talk that were, like, suspense thrillers and fell in love with them. And I even talked to you about a couple of them. And, yeah, so that's, like, something that I'm really into right now. But I can't pick one.
I know. Like...
I don't like this question.
Like, my current obsession, my current obsession is the A Court of Thorns and Roses series, but I can't necessarily say that's my favorite book series of all time, if I think about like a nostalgic book series, you know, I go back to Harry Potter.
Yeah,
You know,
I say I could reread that like
I
nothing.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah, but I just read, like we talked about, I read Verity by Colleen Hoover. I literally read that in a day. I couldn't put it down and fell in love with it. And I'm looking forward to reading more of her stuff. But yeah, it's been a long time since I read a book that quickly.
Yeah.
But I just fell in love with it, and it's just so good. I couldn't stop. So that's probably the most recent one that I've read that fast, because I was like, yes, yes, yes. Other than like the stuff we've been reading, because the stuff we've been reading, I've been like, done.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah,
So
like yeah, I
don't like that one. I just went on a rant about all these things, but I don't like that question.
well, and then, you know, if we're not looking at series, like you could go series or you could go standalone books, you know. I'm obsessed with half of like John Green's books or
And I really love Stephen King stuff.
Chuck Palahniuk. Like,
I worked with John Green.
oh my god, wrong John Green.
Thank you. Next.
Do you prefer physical books or ebooks?
I've had a big change of heart over the years. I was definitely a physical book fan. Like, gotta have it in my hands. Like, admittedly pretentious as shit about that when like Nooks and Kindles and all these e-readers started coming out, you know, what, 8-10 years ago. It was, you know,
It's been longer than
I was
that.
gonna say, it's been a minute.
yeah,
We're old.
I was like, I would never use one of those electronic book things. And I gotta say, getting back into reading again this year, I've read most of my multi-dozen books that I've gotten through so far on the Kindle, just because of convenience. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you can get them a little bit less expensive. So I'm kind of at a point where I want to read things conveniently on an e-reader, because I can read it on my phone, I can read it on my computer, on the go, wherever I'm at. I can easily read it without having, you know, with just having the device that's already in my pocket. That being said, I've found a few that I love enough that I want to go get the physical books of them so I can have them on my shelf. But that's kind of where I'm at with it.
Amanda, physical or ebook?
No, I'm a physical book bitch.
Yeah.
I can't. Like, I don't think I've ever had like an actual Nook, Kindle, whatever device. Whenever I've like read on a laptop or anything like that, I don't know, like the light just hurts my eyes.
Yeah.
And that makes me sound like super old, but like no, I just not a fan. And so like I literally have physical copies of books just like everywhere. Like the first book that we're about to talk about in episode 1, I bought the book off of Amazon because the library didn't have it and I didn't want to wait.
Oh, no.
So I was like, it's fine. I have a whole bookshelf of stuff. It'll be fine. But no, I prefer the physical book. I don't know. It's just, but then I'll when I'm reading, I have like a 40-minute drive to work every day. So I also have Audible. So I listen to the audiobook there and back. So that's like almost an hour and a half of just listening to it. And then like when I get home, I'll just pick up the book and read. And then when I get back in the car, just skip to whatever part I'm at then. But
There you go.
especially like with the book that I don't want to stop. Like I just like, I just need to know what happens. I need to know what happens. So it's very hard to, like, when I get to work and I'm in the middle of a chapter and then I have to stop and be like, oh my gosh, I have to go clock in and I'm not going to know for another 8 hours what's going to happen. So, but I prefer a physical book if I have a choice. And then if I'm not reading the physical book, then I'm listening to the audiobook. But Kindle's Nooks, I mean, I don't have one, so I just don't use it.
You know, that's not technically true. Because you got one in your pocket all the time.
We don't have a Kindle or a Nook either.
I know, but again, it's the light thing.
Yeah.
Like it messes with my eyes. So
Skyler uses dark mode.
Really?
Yeah.
I actually
turned
Jess on to dark mode.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but you losers can read at work. I cannot.
We do have a lot of
Skyler's like,
hold time on the phone.
I just finished this book. And I was like, oh yeah, that's great. I've been running around for 3 hours. What have you been doing?
So what do you prefer, physical or ebook or audiobook?
I can't listen to audiobooks. They put me to sleep.
Yeah.
Not to
fair.
bring my grandma is the biggest reader I know, so she'll probably come up quite a bit throughout the recordings of this series, but she listens to ebooks and drives, and I don't know how she
You
does
fear for
it.
her life.
Oh my goodness. You talk about the most monotone, uninteresting voice actors they find for these things sometimes. And
That does make a difference.
Yeah.
That does make a difference is the reader. Yeah.
Amazon now has, I don't know, like, if it's for a lot of different series, but I know one series in particular, Amazon now has what's called graphic audiobooks, where there is like a whole voice cast for a book for that audiobook.
Oh, I love that.
And I bought just like for the book series that I'm talking about, I can get like the first half of a book when I buy it. It's in sections, and oh my gosh, it's fantastic. It's like a whole nother experience. It's just like a movie for your ears, essentially.
That is one thing I have to laugh about because when I'm listening to the books, because I just use Audible, so it's one reader for the
Yes.
entire story. So it is funny to listen to someone go back and forth between gender voices.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. It's so funny. It's not that they don't do a great job, but I'm just like, huh.
Yeah.
This is interesting. Interesting choice of dialect there. Okay. All right.
All right. I got one more question for you guys, and we'll wrap this introduction episode up. And we'll be back sometime in the next week or two with episode 1, where we cover Throne of Glass.
Yeah.
Hit us.
Would you rather never read a book again or never watch a movie again?
Movie.
Yeah, I knew that's a no-brainer for you.
Not a big movie person. My brain makes a movie.
This
I'm
is
one of
again-
those very visual, like,
This is again another question I don't like.
visual brain people.
Okay. Because I feel like when I went to college and have kind of fell out of reading, I replaced it with movies and TV shows. So, because I'm such a movie buff.
I'll give you my answer. I can't give up movies. I love sitting down and watching a film. It's just, it can be anything. Even if it's the same movie I've seen 100 times, I will sit down and watch it. Back to
Yeah.
the Future, Gladiator,
Right.
Tremors. I love
Tremors? Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
Loves Tremors.
Wow. I was thinking after the first one, they got really bad really fast.
No, I mean the second and third one I enjoy, but anything after that third one I can't
You're
watch.
insulting one of his favorite series.
Oh my gosh. The series and not just the first movie? The whole series? Right?
Definitely the first 3, but I have seen them all. And there are, I believe, are 7 of them now. But even Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, I couldn't give that up for a book.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings, you'd have the option. You could read it.
Yeah.
Tolkien, man, that detail though.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
It's just so hard because I feel like I appreciate movies and TV for different reasons than what I appreciate books.
Yeah.
Especially if it's like sci-fi or fantasy. I love watching like the CGI and different things that they do and creating things and the artwork behind it. But then like with books, everything's up to me to create and based on the detail that I'm given.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's not fair because I feel like movies is what led me back to reading more. So
Indeterminate question.
I plead the fifth.
No, she did that twice during these
I
questions.
can't, guys. It's
you?
so hard. Yeah, I didn't answer the second question either.
I don't even remember what it was at this point.
Wait, no, I
It
said
was
that.
your favorite book?
Oh,
of
favorite
all
book.
time?
The first question.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't answer. I
Yeah.
can't answer that either.
We tried.
I'll do better next time. Probably not.
You know what? I guarantee for episode 10, I'm going to ask you these questions again.
There we go.
Maybe I'll have an answer by then.
Yeah. We'll have time to think of
Yeah,
an answer.
it's okay. So I was kind of thrown, so it's all right.
Well, I'm super excited about this, guys. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Like I said at the beginning, there aren't two people I'd rather sit in the basement of my house and do this with. So
It's really nice to be able to go through these books with somebody else so that you're going through the same experience as somebody else and you have somebody else to talk to about it. You know, when you read a book on your own and nobody else is along for the ride and you get super excited about something or want to talk, you know, back and forth about plot points, that you have no other options.
Well, it must be nice. You guys are in the same house. I have to like call you or something, because otherwise I make a face or freak out about something. Nick's like, "Ooh, what happened?" And then I have to go back and explain who this is and what happened, and it's just so much extra work. And by then I'm just like not excited about it.
Come over
So.
or just video call.
I'm gonna have to.
Just video call.
But I gotta say, it has to be interesting because you guys are both reading separately. So if one of you's ahead of the other and someone freaks out about something, which I know has happened already,
Yes.
and then you can't say anything and be like, "See, this is what I was talking about. You need to get there."
So just so everybody knows, we are 2 books deep into the Throne of Glass series. We're getting ready to start the 3rd book. There's a point in the 2nd book where I literally jumped off the couch and was like, "Oh shit! Oh my god!"
Literally.
And Jess looked at me and she's like, "What's going on?" I was like, "You'll get there."
I can't tell you. I can't tell you.
I was
This
like
is
20 chapters behind
Yeah.
him at this point.
Which, by the way, you caught up in literally a day. A day.
She was up
You
until
don't-
like 2 in the morning.
Because I
reading.
was ahead of both of you, and you both finished before I did.
You do not want to know how fast I read ACOTAR a couple months ago.
No, I don't.
It's not even as fast as I'm reading Throne of Glass. So,
But it just has to be so funny to see. I wish I could just be a fly on the wall to when a situation like that happens, that one of you's freaking out, but you can't tell the other what's going on.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you just have to get there. You have to
Yeah.
suck it up, and you'll go. Just go.
Anytime you want to come over and have a reading party, we just sit down here after
And we'll
the
just
kids
read.
go to bed, and we'll
You
just
know,
read.
honestly, Jess and I have already talked about taking a vacation in the winter and just
Yes.
going to a hotel and then like watching movies or reading or doing whatever the hell we want,
yep.
drinking a bunch of coffee or tea and whatever, just away from everyone else for just a long weekend. We've already talked about it. It's already happening in the winter, so
Yeah.
sorry, guys.
It is what it is.
All right. Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add?
No, I'm just excited for this. I'm excited to get started.
Yeah.
Well, and then we'll continue this in the next week or two with everybody else and our first book.
Yay.
I'm excited.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'm super excited to start talking about this series. Mm-hmm. All right, everybody. Thank you for listening to A Court of Books and Booze. We look forward to sharing our journeys with you going forward. And if you're interested in hearing any more podcasts, the Golden Mojo Entertainment Network of podcasts. Make sure to go check out. We have the Murdnerds, a true crime podcast. The Call Guys, they are
Anything and everything.
Pop culture.
Pop culture. Yeah.
Yeah.
Indiana Chiefs fans, which I have to say is extremely enjoyable. I'm a huge Seahawks fan, as most anybody who listens to these podcasts knows. I have very much enjoyed listening to those guys talk about their Chiefs.
You've got the United States of Paranormal.
Yes. What can you say? It's
It's
that.
paranormal.
Yeah, it is paranormal. Those guys do a fantastic job. You have the 2 teams, Team Tejas and Team Bougers, and they are just incredible. They're doing great. Mm-hmm. Did I miss anybody?
I don't think you did at this point. You got them all.
Yeah, you really got to think about it.
Check
'cause
them all out.
Nice. We're just adding so
Hey.
many to that list. Yeah.
I did miss one. The most important one.
Oh, here we go.
Yep. Golden Image Podcast. So
All
go
right.
check them out. Anywhere you guys listen to podcasts, And that the same goes for us. We will be up on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podbean,
YouTube.
YouTube.
Ooh.
We will have YouTube videos up. So
All right, go check us out. Join us for our book club.
Yay.
Peace.
all right, thanks guys.